Yes, my name is Maurganne Mooney. I'm an Aboriginal sex worker rights activist and an assaulted women and children's counselor and advocate. That's where I got my training from in grassroots feminism. Now, I'm here tonight to talk to you about the criminalization of women engaged in sex work. Many people don't really understand the current state of law with regards to sex work. And I use the term sex work, not prostitution, because I view it as work. And it's a type of labor, and people engaged in that labor deserve safe working conditions as anybody else. Currently in Canada, it is legal to work in prostitution or in sex work. However, aspects on how someone would stay safe are criminalized. So it's a violation of basic human rights here in Canada that you can be, it's okay to advertise, it's okay to see someone and have sex for money, but it's not okay to have sex for money in the same place more than one time. And you can't get a ride there from somebody else. And you can't share a space with somebody else. And if you're going to discuss the conditions of the engagement, you need to do so out of public eye or hearing. And now, as an assaulted women's counselor, the first thing I would advise a woman who thinks she may be sexually assaulted is do not let your attacker move you to another location. So what do we tell sex workers? If you have someone that you don't know that you're going to discuss sex for money with, you must let them take you to another location. So when we look at the situation of the pig farm, 60% of the women who were found on the pig farm are Aboriginal women, were Aboriginal women. And their families needed to protest outside of police stations in order to get the police to look for their lost mothers, sisters, aunties, daughters. And the police said, well, they have a high-risk lifestyle. They've probably moved on. Or maybe they've OD'd somewhere, or, you know, a whole bunch of things that didn't include a serial killer that targeted marginalized women. And I'm not sure if many people know this, but Paul Bernardo and his father were on the bad date list of sex workers here in Toronto years before Christian French came to light, that case. Now, so when we talk about the law, and again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm a grassroots activist who learned as much as I could about the law as it pertained to women I work with. So it's legal to work as a sex worker. It's criminalized to keep safe. So the models that we have before, we're actually seeking decriminalization of sex work, which would mean that all laws pertaining to sex work would be removed from the criminal code. But not to fear, as some people may, there are still many other laws that can be accessed. If someone is going to kidnap you, we still have a kidnapping law. If someone assaults you, they can be charged with assault. If someone tries to kill you, we have those laws in place. And if someone tries to extort money, we have laws that are in place. So as Alan Young and the case proceeds, we're still waiting to hear the final decision from the judges. In the current standing, it is still criminalized. And so women interacting and working as sex workers can still be arrested, still be held in custody. And a lot of times with Aboriginal clients that I worked with in the courts in the past, they're least likely to get bail, they're least likely to get lighter measures in terms of a sentencing. So, there are members of our community that are advocating for the Swedish model. That's where it would be legal to sell sex, but criminalize their clients. The problem with this is it still keeps police officers in the lives of Aboriginal sex workers. So if we know, if we look through the lens of being an Aboriginal woman, where you are 4 or 5 times more likely to die as a result of violence, that you are racially profiled by police, least likely to get bail, they could still charge you with a whole host of other charges and squeeze you for information about your clients. So it would not reduce the level of violence or amount of incarceration for our women if we advocate for the Swedish model. And not to quote Alan Young, but he is of the belief that in Canada this doesn't make sense. Where would we criminalize the purchase of something that's legal to sell? It doesn't make sense. So with that, we're still pursuing decriminalization of sex work. It's not for any of us really to judge how someone earns their money. I worked with Maggie's for the last year and a half, and we're coordinating a project, the first of its kind in Canada, which is saying something. After all these years after the pig farm, one agency picks up the lead to find and outreach and take our women out of isolation. There's still a big stigma in our community to talk about sex, let alone sex for money, let alone acknowledging that, or being open to say, yes, I work. Some of our women don't consider themselves sex workers, they hustle. They need to make rent, they need to buy Christmas presents for the kids, they need to put food on the table. So in closing, I hope I planted some seeds in terms of really vote for decriminalization. Swedish model is bad. And that's it. Thanks.